What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Anything Liverpool live stream with myself, Dec, Ben, and Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening as we preview Liverpool's return to the Champions League, where they are set to face PSV Eindhoven in match day 5 of the Champions League, as match day 5 is beginning as we speak, because there's current games going on at the moment. Ajax are getting fisted by Benfica right now at the minute, which in fairness is hilarious considering Ajax now sit at the bottom of the Champions League table. The only other game going on at the moment is Galatasaray and Union Saint-Gilloise, or USG to us non of the Belgian persuasion. They are 0-0 with Galatasaray at the moment. Who Galatasaray annoyingly are now ahead of us on 10 points with that draw. Now they're in the second half. Speaking of which, USG have just scored. So take that, Galatasaray, you cheating bastards. Fallen over in the box with not but a fart that blew you over, and Szoboszlai just gracefully touched your face and you felt like you got shot. Didn't deserve that penalty whatsoever. But nonetheless, they're our only loss in the Champions League so far. So we're going to get on to preview it. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Make sure that you have all of your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. We will be back again live tomorrow after the game. So hopefully we will be celebrating at that point, because this is the perfect opportunity for Liverpool to go on a bit of a run. I know we said that before the international break and then came back and got absolutely bent over a barrel by Nottingham Forest, but in fairness, in that first half an hour, we could have had a goal or two. It just didn't fall our way. And then obviously an offside goal goes in. What can you do, I suppose, when you're wearing red and you're playing in Anfield, or the decisions aren't going to go your way, unfortunately. We all know what the PGMOL is like. Fucking crooks, a lot of them. But we're going to get into having a look at Arne Slot and Cody Gakpo were speaking to the media earlier today. We're going to take a look at their thoughts on certain things that they were asked. Those journalists were absolutely fucking woeful because they asked Arne Slot the same question basically 7 or 8 different times.
Yeah.
We're then going to take a look at what Cody Gakpo had to say as well. We're going to take a look at possible injury updates and who may be playing tomorrow. We'll do some predicted 11s. And then we're going to talk about possibly the funniest news of the week, in that everybody was like, oh, like, I don't think, Xabi Alonso is not going to be able to handle the egos, but it looks like Real Madrid will pick the egos over the manager that he is. And then people suggesting that he should be the guy to replace Arne Slot. And I'm kind of like, why are you picking the guy that Arne Slot fingered so robustly twice in the last 2 seasons to replace him? I'm not sure I get the logic behind that. And you can say, yeah, but he's a league winner. Yeah, well, so is Arne Slot. And he'd done it. And to be honest, him doing it with Feyenoord against teams like Ajax and PSV is an awful lot more impressive than Bayer Leverkusen, who's arguably fighting for 2nd or 3rd in the Bundesliga for all time. Doing it with them when Bayern decided to shit the bed for a year. I don't see it personally. I don't see the reason as to why you would go for Xabi Alonso. I mean, I can see the reason why, because you're like, oh, well, he got the best out of Florian Wirtz. And I'm like, okay. He also has Vinny Jr., Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Trent, Arda Güler, Fede Valverde, Militao, Courtois, Carreras, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and they want him gone out of Madrid for some reason. But that's neither here nor there, and it's what we look into during this stream. So make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm going to put a link down in the Twitter page now in 2 seconds once we start introducing our panel mates. So make sure that you're watching on Twitter currently at the moment, that you are going to jump down into those comments now very shortly. But before we do that, I'll introduce you to the panel mates. I have Hassan, Ben, and Dec with me, so we'll get over to these guys and see how they're feeling for tomorrow's result. Hassan, I'll start with you. How are you feeling towards tomorrow's result? Are you optimistic, or are you of the opinion of just get out of there with 3 points?
Yeah, with you on the second, just get the 3 points, get the win. Because every team playing against us now is playing with so much confidence that they can get anything. Only Real and Aston Villa tried to be brave against us, and we were able to defeat them. But those who are going for our weaknesses are getting successful. So I think if PSV tries to play a game which they are attacking us and they leave some gaps, we can capitalize on them. But if they are sitting back and waiting for counters, so they can be a bit uh, play well against us. And so this season, you never know, but PSV is on a good form. They are top of their league, and they are on 4 or 5 straight winning streak. So it will be good to see or bad to see which team turns up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. PSV in their last 5 have beaten Feyenoord 3-2, Fortis Sittard 5-2. They drew with Olympiacos. They beat AZ Alkmaar 5-1, and they beat NAC Breda 1-0 in their last 5 games. Now, in saying that, they have kept a clean sheet in 1 of their last 5 games. Liverpool obviously have kept 2 clean sheets in their last 5 games, albeit there was 4 3-0 losses in their last 5 3 3-0 losses in their last 5 games. One of them to Palace, then the 2-0 victory over Aston Villa, the 1-0 victory over Real Madrid, then 3-0 Man City, 3-0 Nottingham Forest. Now, as it stands, it'll be interesting to see what teams turn up. I personally think we'll probably try something a little bit different, but I don't know exactly what we'll be trying different. But over to you first. How are you feeling towards tomorrow's game? Are you feeling optimistic, or are you feeling a sense of dread, so to speak?
How are you, mate? You okay? Nice to see you, lads. Glad to be back on again. I was at Forest on Saturday, mate, and it was for me, it was one of the worst performances I've seen at Anfield in a very long time. I agree with what you're saying, Stephen. I think that we will do something different. I don't know what that will be. We've said now after every performance recently, how well, this will, next game do you think this, next game do you think that. I said after every international break, oh well, we've had 2 weeks off, we'll come back fighting. I said we'll hit the ground running. We play Forest at Anfield. I think it might have been the last stream, or might have been the stream before I was on. I said if we don't beat Forest at Anfield, there's a problem and big questions have to be asked. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's Arne Slot out or anything like that, because that's just silly. Especially with all this talk of Xabi Alonso that you were speaking about at the start of the stream, it's just a bit silly. But I think the questions do need to be asked. And something does need to change. And like you said, you said it perfectly there, mate. Something has to change, and we all probably do think something will. But I don't think anyone can sit here now and say, yeah, it's going to be this formation, it's going to be them tactics, because he's tried all sorts. And I think that's one of the big problems, Stephen, because last year we seen it so well under Arne Slot. So many people complimented how he was able to change things, mid flow, in the middle of games. He was a master at it. We've seen him, switch things up so effortlessly. And now it's just like it's so stagnant. So where do we go from here, mate? Where do we go from here?
Well, I'll put it this way. It can't get worse.
No, it can't. It can't get worse.
Where's Mick McCarthy when you need him?
I said this. It can't get. It can't. It can't.
It is what it is. Look, in the way that I look at it, PSV are conceding to an awful lot worse sides than us, and conceding multiple goals in many an occasion. The way that I kind of look at it at the moment is, if Liverpool do something different, and I hope they do what I want them to do, but we'll see. Ben, how are you feeling towards the game tomorrow? Are you of an optimistic mind, or are you a little bit hesitant, or how are you looking at it?
Well, we did say that Galatasaray were barely beating the inferior opponents in their own league, and then we go to their ground and lost. Obviously, this game's at home, so you would assume it'd be a different outcome. Dutch teams aren't good, and so you'd assume we win. You'd expect us to win, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that if we win tomorrow we're back, because well, you expect us to win these games. European United Anfield. I'm already looking at West Ham thinking, okay, that's the first real game where we show if we're serious about salvaging this season.
Well, it's interesting that you speak about West Ham at the weekend, because not to look sort of past PSV, but PSV tomorrow night, you get a win there, you instill a bit of confidence, and then you have West Ham at home, you then have Sunderland at home, and then you have Leeds away. And going to Ellen Road is not a fun time for anybody. I've been there, gorgeous stadium, don't get me wrong, but it's loud, like it's very loud. But if you think about it, and if you want to be really technical about it, Liverpool currently are 4 points off third place.
Yeah.
That's how far we are away from third place.
This week's terrible.
And to sort of maybe annoy a couple of people that were like, oh, well, we only won those games on last minute winners if they don't go in. Okay, well, let's play devil's advocate the other way. What if the last minute winners for United, Palace and Chelsea don't go in, and all of a sudden we've 3 more points? We're sat 5th, which is a jump of 7 places in the league. The league isn't over, and anybody saying that it is over is talking out of their arse. Arsenal currently at the minute are 11 points ahead of Liverpool, having 12 games played. There's 26 games to go. There's the guts of 60. There's 78 points to gain between now and the end of the season. Yes, we're currently in poor form at the moment, but that's not, the season isn't over. It's far from over. There's another 6 months of football to play, lads. That's the way that I'm looking at it. And if you go and you beat PSV, get your confidence, beat West Ham, beat Leeds and beat Sunderland, all of a sudden now you're 9 from 9 in the Premier League, and you're, what is it? We'd have won 3, yeah. So we'd have won 4 and lost 1, so we'd be 12 from 15 in the Champions League. Then, if you're 9 from 9 in that Premier League and you gain 9 points, all of a sudden you're up on 27. And depending on, like, Arsenal have to play Chelsea, who are sat at the top as well, so that's going to swing one way or the other, meaning that there's a 6 point swing there. If they draw, that's the most beneficial for us. Manchester City are playing Leeds next. Villa are playing Wolves next. They'll bottle that. Palace are playing United next. That could end in a draw. Brighton are playing Forest next. Sunderland are playing Bournemouth next, and they're right beside each other as well. So that's a 6 point swing there for them too. So a lot of the teams above us are basically playing each other. So the way that I'm looking at it is that by the time we finish Leeds, and if we win all 3 of those games, we could be straight back in a title race, lads. It is that easily able to be swung, and that's the way that I look at it. 3 games.
I just want to say,
in the space of a week,
Stephen, I just wanted to say, we were you saying, beat PSV, and then it gives you the motivation for West Ham. And I completely agree with what you're saying there about how it can swing like that. In one match week, things can be completely different. But, like you said there, we could be the 19th if we didn't have them last minute winners. But if the other teams that didn't beat us in the last minute, we'd be 5th or 4th type of thing. So things can change each week. But we sort of had this, though, before the international break with, we absolutely dominated Real Madrid at Anfield. And then we look like a championship side playing Manchester City. It was that different. So we could absolutely dominate, as Ben said. It's Anfield, it's under the lights Champions League. We want to win these games. But we could play very well against PSV tomorrow night, and then we play West Ham and we look at a shadow of ourselves. We're away. I know we've done all right there, but it can be a bit of a strange ground to go to. So I just wanted to just get that point in there, mate. Things can change very quickly for the good or the bad, but also we've seen previous to literally this international break just gone, where we battered Real Madrid at Anfield, all over them, absolutely all over them. And then look what happened at Manchester City.
No, I completely agree. The next game is the most important, and that's kind of the way that the lads are looking at it as well, according to Arne Slot in the press conference. It's PSV. We're not looking at West Ham. We're looking at PSV. We look at West Ham when the final whistle goes against PSV, and then we look at Sunderland when the final whistle goes at West Ham, and then we look at Leeds when the final whistle goes against Sunderland. That's the way the lads will be looking at it, and that's the way they should be looking at it. And now, speaking about the press conference, Arne Slot had an awful lot to say. Now, he was asked the same question over and over again. Really fucking stupid. Essentially, to break it down for you and to cut a half an hour worth of a press conference into about 5 seconds, Arne Slot was continuously asked what's going wrong and what are you doing wrong and what's happening here and how do you think you can fix it. He essentially said, our offense is fine. We create enough that we should be scoring and should be winning. And he's absolutely correct. Liverpool rank in the highest of chances created, shots on target, XG, the whole lot. We're ranking very, very high in all of that, but it's just not translating to the ball going in the back of the net, which is fine. But the problem is that you're then conceding first. And then the problem is then when you concede first, goals change games. I don't care what anybody says, which is why we were all so angry that Virgil van Dijk's goal against Man City was ruled out. If you go into half-time at 1-1 instead of 2-0 down, they're two drastically different games. You're going into half-time at 1-1, but no, you then end up conceding a massive deflection and you're just going in with an absolute gut punch into your stomach. Whereas we scored that, we come out in the second half, we looked the better team in about the first 10 minutes of the second half. We could have grabbed a second. And then all of a sudden, but no, we're trying to fight then and snatch at chances to get one back so that we can be, okay, maybe we can go get the equalizer now. Goals change games massively. And the whole idea, and what this is, do you want to know what this reminds me of? Klopp's last season. We conceded first quite an awful lot in that season. I believe 24 times in that season we conceded first. And we didn't really end up doing anything other than some of the cup runs. It seems to be the same this season. And what happened last season is we never conceded first and we always scored first. And that's the difference. If you're the problem is that the second we concede first, the other team then goes into its shell and doesn't fucking come out of it. And they're stuck then in a low block with 11 men in their own box. And all of a sudden we're there snatching at chances trying to get them. It will click. The issue that Slot said he had was it's set pieces. We're conceding too many goals. At this point last season, we had conceded nothing from set pieces. Now we've conceded 9. So there's that level of it as well that we need to be better in defending set pieces. And he was saying question over and over again. He said it the same way over and over again. Hassan, with the issues that we've faced so far, is there a particular problem area for you that needs to be addressed for tomorrow and for the games going forward? Or is it kind of everything's broken? We just need to start somewhere.
For me, the biggest concern for me is December is upon us, and we still don't know what our best 11 is. I don't know what is the plan is with Isak, how he will be integrated. He was the big signing, like Wirtz. Still Wirtz position is not, will he play on 10 or will he be on the left? Salah does not have the same, is not coming in the same wavelength with them. He is struggling with them. So the main concern for me is the first 11 and team chemistry. We can talk about other teams, and if we win this and we can regain confidence. And the first thing is that we should know, like previous seasons, if we were conceding, but we always knew that we have a team we can. But now if we concede, it's now it seems like Slot goes for Hail Mary and he throws everything he has, and there's no shape. And now then if we scores, it's okay, but the other team is also confident that they can get anything. So I think we have problems, especially at the right back. No one seems to be fit enough, or we cannot play Soboslai over there, because it's, I think, a bit unfair to him, because he's been trying, he's been our best player. So putting him there is taking away what he can bring on the midfield. So I think McAllister has not been the same. Gravenberg is not. So I think there are so many problems, which uh, because at some games, like Dak mentioned, Real Madrid, it seems that everything is coming back together. Everybody produced a really good performance. Even Salah was on his game, Gravenberg, Maka, everybody. Then after that, like Dak also mentioned, at City, it was looking so bad that that midfield you see every game day that is not even the best City midfield ever. They had so many great players. Now it's players like Nico, and
Mm.
they were dominating us, and it was so unusual that uh, our players, if we look at our 11 and their 11, we are much better. But I don't know why. Don't know because of the new players. Players have not settled in, and they don't know each other. But so much time has passed. We need to be like tomorrow. You are saying, Stefan, that we should try something different. But if it's our game plan, we should stick to it, and those players should be given a chance to go forward.
I think the problem with that, Hassan, is, and I agree with you that they should be given a chance to go forward. But as you said, we're in December.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of at that situation now where players are what they are, and one of the biggest problems that I feel that we have, and I'll go last on this because I have a bit of a rant ready to go, and I have the numbers to back it up as well. But a lot of people aren't going to like the rant that I'm going to make on this. But anyways, Deck, is there any specific singular area that you feel is the problem, or as I said to Hassan, is it a Everton's broken, let's just fix one thing and work backwards from there?
Obviously, specifically, you can look at individual players, but collectively, it is just everything. Whether you want to put it like that, very abruptly or not, it is everything. Like you said, there is positives there, Stephen. The fact that we're only 4 or however many points off third. You know, the XG created the chances going forward. We are up there, so you can't turn around and say everyone's shit or it's individuals. But at the same time, I feel like you sort of can look at it overall tactically and think, well, actually, on this game day, he could have done better on this certain in this match. He could have done better. I think it just comes down to Arne Slot, and he just doesn't know. Can you hear me, lads?
Yeah, gotcha.
Can you hear me, lads? Hello?
Yeah, no, we got you. Yeah, can you hear us? Look, he's gone. He'll be back. Deck will be back. It's grand. Ben, I'll throw over to you while we wait for Deck to come back. Is there any singular area that you feel that there's an issue in, or is it a collective, as Deck mentioned?
It's everything. I mean, the only thing that isn't going wrong really is that we are creating chances, but we're not taking those chances. But set pieces, defending transitions, long throws, wide open in midfield, just everything. So many things you could point to. You could do 3 streams and still probably wouldn't be able to explain it all.
Well, I aim to do it in about 5 minutes, to be honest with you, because I can tell you where everything stems from. But it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation that people are going to have. And if Deck comes back, I'll let him finish his point. But I'll start on mine, and it's Mohamed Salah. He is the problem child. And he is the cause of an awful lot of our issues at the moment. And you might think I'm a bit of a fucking lunatic for saying that. And I would get that. I completely get that. Deck's back now. I'll get him jumping in.
Sorry, lads.
Apologies, Deck. You're grand. Do you want to finish off on what you were saying here?
My son was trying to FaceTime me. Sorry, lads. What was I saying? Sorry. Tactically overall, I think it's just Arne Slot. He just like you said, we're in December now. The players are the players, and that's who we have. It could be just a case of that overall. There's just been too many outgoings, too many incomings. You never know. I think we will get better. Like you said, there's a lot of games to play, but something's got to be said, man. There's questions that need to be asked, and Arne Slot needs to. I think we do need to maybe go back to the fundamentals, strip it back, and just start from one player and work it our way down and ask each one of them individually, okay, how can we help you? The football club know this better than anyone. Arne Slot knows this better than anyone. Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, FSG, they know how to run this club, and it will come good. We just need to give it time, and I don't think getting rid of the manager is gonna do us any favors right now.
No. Personally, I don't think so either. But while you were gone, Dick, I mentioned who I think is the problem child, and I said it's Mohamed Salah. And that is going to rub a couple of people the wrong way.
Potentially so, Stephen. Yeah, sorry to cut in there, but yeah, I think right. I think Mo Salah's gone in the summer. I think you can't start every game. I love Mo Salah. For me personally, he's the best player I've seen him in my own eyes play for the football club in my lifetime. From being able to go to the match and enjoy it for what it is. Obviously, there's been many great players. Steven Gerrard is, I'm not that old. I'm only in my 20s. But the point is Mo Salah's one of my greatest ever players to play for Liverpool that I've seen and been privileged enough to witness. But he signed 2 years. He's on however many grand a week, 500 grand a week, and I think the football club probably think, okay, look. There's been so many outgoings. He hasn't really gelled. He's still Mo Salah, of course, and that could change within a blink of an eye because he is superhuman. But I think he goes in the summer. I think Semenyo comes in, and I think that's it. That's Salah's replacement, and I think Arne Slot's sort of in a predicament where he has to start Mo Salah week in, week out, just because of who he is and what he's done for the football club, and that's fine because everybody loves Mo Salah, and we all know how good Mo Salah can be. But we're in December, like you said, and we've seen these players now week in, week out for a number of weeks, and nothing seems to be clicking and nothing seems to change. And Mo Salah is one of them players where he's not doing enough, and he's a shadow of himself that he was last season. How can you go from doing all that? That for me, that season last season was almost the way of Mo Salah saying, "This is it. I've done everything for you." And obviously, when Mo Salah signed that contract, I was made up. Salah's staying. He's here for another 2 years. We love you, Mo. Like we love Virgil. We want these players to stay, but it was almost like Mo Salah was saying, look, I've got nothing left in the tank. I'm more than happy to stay around and be here, and I love you, and I love the club, and I love the fans, but I think he's gone in the summer, and we sell him, and we get a bit of money from Saudi or something like that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And if you want to see the dichotomy of Liverpool fans, you can see it in the comments here of Igboze mentioning Salah's not the problem, and then Sayanda Carl, evening lads, first time sub from South Africa. Thank you so much for subscribing. We very much appreciate it, Carl. Thank you for being honest about Salah. According to our fan base, it's almost a sinful act to criticize him.
This is what I mean.
Dichotomy of Liverpool fans right there. And if Igboze, while I agree with you that he's not, I don't agree with you. He is the problem, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. And it's not as if I'm saying he's a problem because he's playing shit, and it's because it's hard to explain, because the best way to describe it is Father Time is undefeated. No matter who you are, how good you are, or how long you look after your body, you will eventually break down and slow down. And the problem is that your brain can still be as sharp as it was before, but your body is now not able to do the actions in the same velocity and the same skill and the same speed and veracity, should I say, as your brain wants it to do. I'll give you an example. The Nottingham Forest game. The two games that we played the best in so far this season is Aston Villa and Real Madrid. And you can argue that's because they played to our strengths. And I'm like, well, yes, but we also pressed the ever-living life out of them. And we made them make mistakes by pressing them well. And the reason Jurgen Klopp was so successful with the front three of Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino, and Mohamed Salah is because they were the last line of attack, but they were the first line of defense. And they pressed the ever-living shit out of people. They smothered you. There was no getting away from them. They could cover the grass of 6 people. Salah doesn't have the legs to do that anymore. And that's fine to say. You need to then put him in a position that he either doesn't have to do that anymore, or you take him out of that position where you're trying to get somebody to do that and bring him on later in the game. And the problem with that is you've handed him $500,000 a week, and it looks a bit silly to do that. That's the problem. So Liverpool have kind of backed themselves into a corner there. But it's not rest sometimes, Igbose. He needs to be dropped, like completely dropped. It's one thing if this was like in the middle of September, you're like, oh look, maybe he's just kind of getting back into it and whatnot. But we're in December. We're 3.5 months into the league season, and he's just not at the races whatsoever. Just to give you a couple of numbers of the Nottingham Forest game, he had 88 touches. He had 15 touches in the box. He had 4 of 14 successful dribbles. He had 4 passes into the final third. He had 0 of 7 accurate crosses, and he won 4 of 16 duels. I'm sorry, but if you have nearly 90 touches and you lose the ball nearly 50% of the time, you are detrimental to a team that is trying to hold possession and get back into a game.
Yeah.
Unbelievably detrimental. Like,
when's the AFCON? Sorry, Stephen. When's that start?
Egypt are playing as of the 6th of December, but I don't think AFCON starts till later on in December.
Because we'll see though. That's a perfect opportunity to see whether Salah's the problem or not. Because when he's there, if the lads all of a sudden start being back to the perfect best, and it's like nothing's happened, then
one of the games that he didn't start and came on for about 20 minutes at the end of it was the Frankfurt game that we pumped him 5-1.
5-1. There you go.
So there's that, and then if he did start both the Villa games and the Real Madrid game, but if you notice what was the difference in those games as opposed to City and Nottingham Forest, we actually didn't include him at all. Well, not that we didn't include him, but he wasn't as involved. His touches were way down, his involvement was way down, his actions were way down, and what was he doing instead? He was pressing the life out of them.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing in the Villa and the Real Madrid games. He was pressing and defending and actually putting in the work that way.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that, and I'm going to show you this now, who do you think has the better pressing numbers? Conor Bradley or Mo Salah?
Bradley.
Analytical. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to say Mo Salah. just to be fun.
Well, I hate to see it, but our 4 best pressers are Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Conor Bradley, and Alexi McAllister is there as well. Now, yes, Mohamed Salah is there in sort of 6th place but so I'll explain the numbers. Everything in blue here is the amount of pressures that they produce, which is how close they get to a player. In the way that they describe pressures is you're within a certain number of yards of a player. So Florian Wirtz is, and this is for all players in Liverpool that have played at least 500 minutes so far this season. So Florian Wirtz is our best presser. He's within about 3 yards of a player 24 times a game when they are in possession. Hugo Ekitike is the same on that as well. Dominic Szoboszlai is there as well. And Conor Bradley is up there with Szoboszlai. What's in the sort of orangey color here is what's called counter pressures. This means after we lose the ball, how quickly are we on top of them and trying to pressure them to win it back? So this would be if we're in attack and we lose the ball suddenly, how quick are we pouncing on them to get them back? Liverpool's press used to be smothering, and it still is, but there's a weak point. And this number here, the percentage, is how much of the full team percentage they contribute to. So Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, and Dominic Szoboszlai contribute about 45% of Liverpool's pressing numbers. You add in Conor Bradley, that jumps up to nearly 60%. So those 4 players there account for 60% of our pressing numbers. Add in then Alexi McAllister, and you're up on nearly 70 to 80%, or it's about 70%, thereabouts. So the first 5 guys there account for 70% of our pressing numbers, which is what you want, because Florian Wirtz is your 10, Szoboszlai is your 10 or your midfielder, Ekitike is your striker. They're the guys you want pressing. Now look at Salah and Gakpo.
Yeah.
The problem is Ryan Gravenberch is a 6. You don't want him pressing. Milos Kerkez is a left back that's asked to sit back more. You're not going to see big numbers out of him. Konate is a centre back. You're not going to see big numbers out of him. But when Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo are sat here, that's a problem.
That's worrying.
When your right back has nearly double the team share of pressures and pressing as your right winger, that's a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
That is a major problem.
Yeah.
it's such a problem, and the only way that you can fix that is replacing him. And the only way that you can replace him, and I'm going to stop sharing that at the moment because this is what I mean about Mo Salah. I love him. I love him to death. My phone wallpaper is him. I have his jerseys. He brought us number 20 in front of fans. And without him, we probably wouldn't have got it. He was able to do that non-defensive stuff last season. And to give you even another whopper, his defensive numbers last season, when he wasn't even defending, were double that of what he's doing this season.
Make it make sense, Stephen. Make it make sense, mate.
His tackles and interceptions last season, he averaged about 0.85 last season. That's tackles and interceptions. Not that great for a guy you'd expect to press, but you allowed him to cheat and you allowed him to do so because he was banging goals and assists for fun. This season, he's not even averaging 0.4 tackles and interceptions per game. And that's alarming because last season he was told, don't make me defend, I'll get you on the offensive side of it. Now he's not even doing half the defending he was doing last season, and he was doing nothing last season. So that's fucking alarming, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Looking at a couple of the comments here, we have Dr. Ebvavan here with, I feel the team knows this, that Salah now is a weak link, and JD mentioned in here, I'd be playing Cade Gordon over Salah at this point. At least he's getting goals and assists for the under-21s. It's not about goals and assists. It is not. Which is why the only reason I see Semenyo happen goes to the right wing and covers Salah's running. Because Semenyo lacks in an awful lot of areas, but one thing he is unbelievable at is running and pressing and getting the ball back in the final third. That's the only reason I could see Semenyo coming in. And if Liverpool are willing to put 65 million to solve that problem, fair enough. Carl here mentioning, true, he can't press, but he's still a very good player, though. I'd say transition him to a short striker, but we're already to have two strikers and 2 10s. Mo is having a Harvey Elliott problem. Yes, basically. So. He's lacking an awful lot of physicality. The Nottingham Forest game showed it. And the problem is that in the Villa game and in the Real Madrid game, we put the ball in Alexi McAllister, Florian Wirtz, and Hugo Ekitike's hands. And I said this before the game as well. Alexander Isak should not be starting in that Nottingham Forest game because Forest are going to sit back and you need a guy that can play with back to goal, and you can't have Mohamed Salah and you can't have Alexander Isak in the same side. It's just not able to work. They're not lazy to a degree, but they're both the same player who will sit on the last man and try and get the ball over the top and try and cheat. The problem is you can have one of them. You can't have two of them unless you have every other player in your team be a workhorse.
Yeah.
Unless we had Fabinho, Henderson, and Milner in that midfield. That's the only way that works. And unfortunately, we don't. So you can't have both of them in the 11 at the same time. So how do we fix this? We drop Salah and we start Ekitike and Isak together.
Okay.
That's basically the way to go about it, and play 2 up front. Now,
I'm
going to stop rambling because I have my rant over, because that's basically how I view this whole situation. That it's just that I love Zets. But I would much rather him go out with a bang than just go out on a whimper like this, because it's just sad to look at the moment, and it's sad to say as well, because everybody loves him. He's the icon. He deserves a statue outside of Anfield. Do not get it twisted that he does deserve this. But everybody's time comes. The cliff comes for absolutely everybody, and you cannot predict when it happens. Nobody thought Fabinho would fall off a cliff. Everybody thought that when we sold Sadio Mane, it was a mistake, and then he shit the bed at Bayern. Everybody's thinking now that Luis Diaz selling him was a mistake, when in actuality, 12 months ago, people were wanting him sold in January because he couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Everybody was so delighted that we re-signed Salah, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, is it really that wise to give a guy of that age, of that type of play style, that ages very poorly, that amount of cash? Maybe it was a situation of, look, we're going to give you a 2-year deal. We're going to just to retain some value. We're going to keep you for a year, sell you in the summer, get a bit of cash back, and let you go to Saudi as sort of a thank you, so to speak. Is here's a contract that's going to set you up for life, kind of a thing. It's one of those that it's just like, what I find funny as well is like Kwanzaa was dropped for less. He played one mediocre half against Ipswich and was never seen again. And he is currently unbelievable in the Bundesliga at the moment. And I can see him coming back to us in 2027. But I'm going to float the idea to everybody here of my ramblings, so to speak. Ben, I'll come to you first. There's been many a time where you've said and agreed with me that you can't have two lazy players, if you want to classify them as that, in Salah and Isa. And I 100% agree with you. I wouldn't necessarily call them lazy. I would say it's just their play style and it's how they have been geared to play. And if you're going to play to their strengths, you cannot have both of them on the pitch at the same time because you're played through way too easily. Do you think that drop Salah is the answer? Because if you improve the press in the front, that then cascades backwards through the team and we stop becoming leaky because Bradley doesn't have to overcommit, which then leaves Kwanzaa, which then leaves Konate exposed or Gravenberch exposed, having to overcommit to protect that side as well because he's not doing the running. Is this a defend from the front and the rest will fall into line situation? How do you feel about my, shall I say, insane ramblings over the past while?
Well, I've been preaching the same things. I think Salah is the main problem. You drop him, you sort the majority of it out. Because if you can press from the front, you can defend properly. It's like you said, we've got too many players overcommitting to or overcompensating for Salah, and that's costing us centrally and what outlined. Like in that stream a week ago, you pointed out we're getting attacked so much down our right hand side, which is proof that if Salah's not playing and someone like Chiesa or offering on players or Semenyo, you sort out a load of problems. Even if you sacrifice the goals, you have to pray that someone like Isaac can bring them goals back.
I completely agree with you. Dec, I'm going to throw this question to you here from Carl. Or rather, not so much of a question, but a statement. Is favoritism and lack of rotation costing us currently at the moment? Because, as we've said, we're in December. We know what the players are. Our best performances came when Salah was least involved. I say least involved. Less involved is probably the better terms. And we played through the new guys in Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike, and Salah was basically told press, for lack of a better term. Do you think it's a favoritism is hurting us at the moment?
100%.
Or is it possibly a lack of options too? Because you have Konate there. Who are you going to put in instead of Konate? You have Joe Gomez who just got pain injections into his knee a week ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. I seen that today. That's a great comment, by the way. I just read that back then on the screen on the side here. But I think it is a little bit of favoritism. I think I tried to touch on that before because he's Mo Salah, because of who he is, and because of the season he's just had. Arne Slot would almost be damned if he did and damned if he doesn't. If he didn't start Mo Salah, we would all be screaming, "What are you doing? It's Mo Salah." But now it's like, well, because Mo Salah hasn't been to that standard, it's almost like, well, why are you starting Mo Salah? So Arne Slot's sort of in a bit of a catch-22 situation there. But I do think it does come down a little bit to favouritism and also lack of rotation as well, because we've all been screaming for Federico Chiesa to be given a game on that right-hand side for however long, and it just hasn't happened. Is that favouritism on Arne Slot's behalf towards a Mo Salah, towards another player like who else could he play right wing? You don't know, but depends on how the formation is on the day. But there's many other forwards that he has picked over the Chiesa. So yeah, I think that's a very, very good comment. It is favouritism in my opinion, and so it should be in a way, because it is Mo Salah and he deserves to play and start every game and play 90 minutes. But that's when he's at his brilliant best, and he's far from that. Stephen, you made a good point there as well. Let's just to move on from Mo Salah now, because I feel awful, by the way. I feel so sick just slandering Mo Salah in this way. Yeah, I feel terrible. So we'll move on now to this absolute knobhead who I want to call Ibrahim Konate. Yeah, he's lucky that we've only got a Joe Gomez to play centre half there, because that game against Forest, like I said, I was at the game, and he come off the pitch smirking, as if it was all fine and rosy. We're thinking, oh, here we go again. I'm being subbed off as if he's world class. He can be on his day, but this man's demanding, 300 grand a week from Liverpool Football Club to sign a new contract. He's turned down contract extension after contract extension, where we have been on the top of the world after we won the league, could have signed a contract. So you know, Ibrahim Konate at the moment is in my bad books, mate, and he is very lucky, Stephen, like you said, that we've only got a Joe Gomez who can play there. You know, there's talks on tomorrow night of playing Joe Gomez right back because of that situation, and I think that plays into it as well. I think if Joe Gomez was fit and he weren't getting injections in his knee, and you know, we had a fit and firing Conor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong, but Calvin Ramsey, if he was registered, for example, for the Champions League football, Joe Gomez was fit, he'd play over Konate tomorrow night. In some aspects of it, Stephen, I still want him to, because I think Konate is in this world of he's undroppable, and he almost is by default because we've got no one else to play there. Do I regret getting, selling Gerald Kwanzaa? Well, you can't really foreshadow that. And Arne Slot, like you said, never favoured him. He got brought off after when he played Ipswich at half time at the start of last season. We never seen him again. So you can't really foreshadow that. But if I had Gerald Kwanzaa in the squad now, I would be starting him over Konate tomorrow night. I'm telling you that for a fact.
He's very low, and as bad as it is to say, he's lucky Giovanni Leone done his ACL. Otherwise,
exactly.
He'd be starting as well.
Giovanni Leone, he would be starting. If we had Mark Gay, had come to the club, he'd be starting. Ibrahim Konate is almost starting every game and playing 90 minutes by default. Yeah, he did get brought off. He's been brought off now. He got brought off against Forest and stuff like that. But he's almost like he's sat there and he's laughing, coming off against Forest, thinking, "Oh, I'm untouchable," type of thing. It doesn't look good. And just to touch back on individual performances, like we mentioned earlier on, Stephen, if it's formalities or whether it's like individuals that where the problem lies. Ibrahim Konate could be that. We don't know where his head is at. Is his head already in Madrid? We don't know.
To be honest with you, I think it is. And to be honest, I think Real Madrid won't even go for him based on his performances of late, which would be fucking hilarious because then we could lowball the shite out of him. Yeah. But nonetheless, Hassan, I'm going to move off the topics now and we're going to touch on our last topic of the day because this is meant to be a preview and we've just gone on a bit of a rant and it's been a bit
I think it was going to happen though, Stephen. I think we all knew that slightly.
Yeah, no, we did. And to be fair, it's needed. You need to let it out. And I hope anybody in the comments is letting it out as well because I can see a lot of people sort of venting there, which is grand. But Hassan, let's get back on track. Before we do so, I want to thank everybody for joining us as well today. So make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. If you are currently watching on X at the moment, make sure to jump down into the comments below. There will be a link straight over to our YouTube page where you can leave a like, you can subscribe, you can turn your notifications on, and you'll see all of our videos there. We will be back live again tomorrow from about 10 p.m. Just after the game with PSV finishes. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Just want to touch on this before I get to you, Hassan. Carl mentioning here, what I find interesting is that the coming summer is going to be a centre-back market. Very good centre-backs are running down their contracts this season. Yeah, you have Upamecano from Bayern Munich. You have Mark Gay from Crystal Palace. You have our shithouse Konate running his deal down as well.
Schlotterbeck from Dortmund, is he still available?
His contract is he has a contract, but I don't know how much he'll go for. He's somebody I would love to get. Oh yeah, personally.
I've been aware of it for a while.
Phenomenal centre back.
Injury prone.
He's a phenomenal centre back. Other people that I would look at as well is Diomande from Sporting Lisbon is another guy, but it would have to be for the right price because Sporting Lisbon are absolutely notorious for selling duds. They've sold Arsenal one already this season. But Hassan, give me your predicted 11 for tomorrow, and that's where we'll finish on for everybody. Give me your predicted 11 and your predicted score for tomorrow, please.
Yeah, okay. I think tomorrow the front three will be Ekitike, Isaac, and Salah, with midfield of McAllister, Gravenberg, and hopefully Szoboszlai, and Jones go back to the right back, and at centre back it will be hopefully it will be Gomez, VVD, Virgil, and Robo.
Fair enough. And just nobody in goal. We leave that open because we'll defend.
It will be a lesson.
Ben, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to get your predicted. Well, Hassan, what was your predicted scoreline, by the way? You never mentioned that.
Hopefully 2-0.
2-0. Perfect. Clean sheet, 2 goals, comfortable, smash and grab, in, out, done and dusted, the way I like it. Ben, can you give me your predicted 11 and your predicted scoreline, please?
Yeah, my bad. Alisson, Szoboszlai, Konate, unfortunately. Van Dijk, Robbo, Jones, Grav. Actually, no, it can't be. McAllister, Grav, Jones, Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah. Hopefully, Chiesa.
And what's your scoreline prediction?
4-1 Liverpool. And to touch on Hassan's point of no goalkeeper, we might as well not have a goalkeeper. We get cut open that easily. Might as well just play 1-2s with each other.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Deck, give me your starting 11 and your score prediction, please.
Right, okay. So, I think Alisson Becker in net. I think it's going to be Joe Gomez right back because we've got no one else to play there. I don't think Curtis Jones. I mean, you could argue Curtis Jones, but I just don't want to see Dominic Szoboszlai at right back. So I'm just gonna throw it out there, Joe Gomez. Obviously Ibrahima Konate, and Van Dijk. Konate's playing via default at this rate. Yeah, there's no one else to play centre half. So good for you, Konate, mate. I don't want to see you play for at least a week for the club after coming off against Forest with that laugh and that smirk that you did. So you did me bad books, but. Left back, I'm going to say Andy Robbo. Why not? He gets stuck in. Midfield, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and we'll do a 4-3-3, and we'll do Salah, Hugo Ekitike, just because he didn't start against Forest, not against Alexander Isak. And on the left wing, I would love to see a Chiesa. Just because I don't think Cody Gakpo is really at that level. He could play, he could start, but I know Chiesa can play off the left, and obviously Florian Wirtz is injured. So Federico Chiesa. Score prediction, Stephen. I will go for 2-1 to the Reds. As much as I don't want to concede, I think we will just concede because at the moment we don't seem to be able to keep the ball out of our net, unfortunately. So yeah, 2-1 to the Reds.
Fair enough. And I hate to break it to you, Cody Gakpo is 100% starting tomorrow.
Probably,
The player that goes and does the interview the day before is 110% starting the day after. That is, I have never.
I just want to see Chiesa. I tell you what, Chiesa on the right, Mo Salah, you're on the bench, lads.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Gakpo's playing against PSV. That's his club as well.
Yeah, so. It's against PSV as well. There's no way Gakpo's not playing.
Yeah, Ekitike, Chiesa, Gakpo, I'll change it.
I'm going to go a bit of a different avenue of.
What can we go?
I think it's going to be a back four of Milos Kerkez, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, and Curtis Jones. And the reason I say that is because you're not going to put Joe Gomez into a team when he hasn't really trained every day last week, along with the fact that he just got pain injections into his knee.
Yeah, which that up, does it?
Beggars fucking belief. I don't think you're going to use your only backup centre back to play a right back or start in this game. But that's what I see the back four being. And the reason I see that is if Jones just stays as like a centre back and just stays back and makes like a flat back three out of that, let Kerkez go. Let him get up that side of the pitch and start pinging balls into the box. Because what you can do is you can put Mohamed Salah on the right wing and ask him just put the ball in the box. Because now you have a front four of Kerkez on the left, Gakpo and Ekitike in the box, and Salah on the right, and then right behind them you have somebody that's very, very good at long passing and getting through balls through, which is Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexi McAllister, and you have Gravenberch then behind there. Florian Wirtz was not confirmed to be out for this game, but I don't think he's going to play. Slot said before the Forest game he should be available to play after Forest, but we'll have to see how he goes. He may miss this game and then be back for the weekend against West Ham, but we'll see. The way that I see that front line going is you're basically in a 3-2 sort of 3-2-5, which is what we build up in. You have Szoboszlai, Ekitike, Gakpo, Kerkez on the left, Salah on the right. You then have a back three of Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and Curtis Jones that just sit there and protect against a counter. None of this overlapping and underlapping from Curtis Jones. Let Mo Salah be out wide and hold width and just ping the ball into the box to your 2 6'4" forwards that are unbelievable in the air in Gakpo and Ekitike.
Yeah.
Both of them have the technical ability to come short, turn, cut inside left or right, and fucking have rockets of right foots, the two of them.
Sounds lovely, that, to be honest with you, Stephen. That's a very good prediction, that.
That's just the way I want
it. It's good to hear you're not also playing a goalkeeper.
I'm not playing a goalkeeper at all. We'll play with 10 men. If you want, we'll throw Allison up in the box as well, and all 6'4".
Get Allison up there as well. Put Allison up top, yeah.
We'll still get you the corner.
Yeah, we just need a corner and send him straight up. But that's the way that I view it. Is just I'd love to see that be the formation and just flat back three. Let Kerkez go. If you're going to play Robbo, that's fine. Robbo can do the same thing because he has a whip of a ball that he can put into the box too. And then you have just keep pinging balls into the box and get Ekitike and Gakpo, who have a fantastic first touch, the two of them, and have the technical ability to operate in tight spaces and have a rocket of a right boot. And I can see the goals coming tomorrow. And I can see Salah maybe becoming more of that facilitator and sitting out wide like a wing back, so to speak, and just firing balls into the box. You then have Curtis Jones that's very good at recycling possession, holding on to the ball and being press resistant. That's good to have in your back line. You then have Alexi McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch that are just two ball hawks that will cover so much ground. Ryan Gravenberch is doing the Lord's work as a CDM at the moment. His ground duels, he wins them at 60% of a clip, and his aerial duels, he wins them at 60% of a clip. For a midfielder, that is fucking ridiculous. So that's the way that I want Liverpool to line up tomorrow. Score predictions, I'm going to go with 3-0. That's the way that I see it tomorrow. I think Liverpool will score 3-0. I think Ekitike gets back on the scoreboard, and I think Mohamed Salah grabs 2 assists. And I think I don't know who the other goals are going to be. I know Ekitike is going to grab 1. I just know it. That guy has to be our starting forward from now on. I don't care anything about Isak's price tag. That guy has to be our starting forward. If Arne Slot continues to bench Ekitike for Alexander Isak, you may as well throw in the towel on the season, because Ekitike is just such a better striker currently at the moment. But that are going to leave it for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank everybody for getting involved in the comments as well. It was a very fun time interacting with everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for our future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. We will be live again tomorrow from 10 p.m, just after 10 p.m, should I say rather, for our post-match stream, hopefully where we're celebrating a win and Liverpool getting back to winning ways and starting off on a bit of a run for getting their next couple of results and getting their next couple of points. For myself, Dek, Ben, and Hassan, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening watching the rest of the Champions League football, and we'll